And it's showtime. Hey, welcome back to the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast. It's the only channel in Costa Rica not trying to con you into coming to Costa Rica so you can buy more of my product and services. Hey, today we are going to be talking, hey, it's Q&A. It's our monthly Q&A. But, in between questions, we're going to be talking about how awesome, how amazing, and when does Costa Rica get awesome for you? We're going to be talking about, because a lot of times I like to warn you about some of the negative things, but today we're going to be talking about just how awesome can it be. Matter of fact, kind of like Randy was saying, he's up here where it's cold, man. And today he says it's a warm day of 42 degrees. That ain't warm, buddy. I'm like, dude, that ain't warm. I'm chilling on the mountaintop at 73 degrees. And he's like, dude, I'm jealous. But you know what? I'm a sharing kind of guy, so come on over. Hey, there's lots of room for you here in Costa Rica. And, a lot of channels like mine have kind of been getting the word out about Costa Rica. A lot of people have been kind of moving to the wrong area. But today we're going to be talking about how to pick the right area and when does Costa Rica really, really get good. When can you really enjoy it? But hey, most importantly, we're going to be answering your questions. So, hey, before we get started, if this is your first time here, who is that bald guy and how come you got this young chick over here? Well, I'm Alan. That's my wonderful co-host,
Rebecca.
And we've been here in Costa Rica since November 2013. And we've traveled all over the place, just having a great time. And it's what everyone should do. When you come to Costa Rica, don't do like some of them knuckleheads where they arrive in La Fortuna and they stay in La Fortuna for 19 years and pretend like they know what they're talking about. No, travel around. Go see some things. La Fortuna is a touristy area. Don't go to Jaco, Hermosa, stay there. It's tourist. Go try out some remote areas and see some things. We've been all over from right at the border of Panama all the way up to the border of Nicaragua, So we've been all over the place. Now, there's been places we haven't lived on purpose. I don't want to live in San Jose and the metropolitan area, and you probably don't either. But we can answer some of those questions. We have traveled all over the place, but keep in mind, traveling and living, two totally different things. As long as you're traveling, you're not going to really kind of get the feel of that area. You see what's there, but unless you get to live there 2 or 3 months, you're not going to really get to see the hidden waterfall and talk to the locals. And, those are the things that we like to share from our perspective, because, I ain't never wrong. I mean, I thought I was wrong one time, but I was only mistaken, so I guess that don't count. No. Now, Rebecca, she let me know. She knows what she's talking about. From a woman's perspective, she let me know I'm wrong. But she's probably right. So, hey, what's been happening on the off-grid homestead?
This week went by so fast.
Didn't get nothing done. I got the booger bears. I mean, I got some bug come on me.
You got the gripe.
Well, they call it the gripe, but they define the gripe as the flu. Well, it wasn't the flu, but it starts with a sore throat, and then all of a sudden your nose starts running, and but Costa Rica, they've got some really good natural remedies. Okay, so write this down, because there's one natural remedy I'm going to tell you about right now. Okay, I wished I had a picture to show you, and I didn't have time. I didn't think about it till just then. But hey, 3 ingredients. Okay, so all you got to do is get some ginger. You can get now. In the United States, I never even saw ginger. Okay, but get some ginger, some honey, and some ginger, honey, and whiskey. No. That's at nightcap.
Lemon.
Ginger, honey, and lemon. Okay, you get
there
those
is
3.
Ginger in the United States.
I just didn't find it.
I did the grocery shopping.
I think she's telling a story. Anyway, well, yeah, you're right. Look, this guy says, get the tequila. That's right. I didn't have the tequila. I'm not in Mexico, dude. We're in Costa Rica. They got some. They got their own kind. Anyway, look, you get your honey, your ginger, and your tea, and it's real easy. I mean, that ginger, you just take a grater and you grate it all up. And you know, that ginger is kind of hard because it's a root that's all over the place. But hey, look, you grate it all up. And I don't try to peel mine or anything. I just grate it up, peelings and all, okay? And then I take some lemons. And in Costa Rica, you have no problems finding lemons. Lemons all over the place, man. You got oranges, pretend that they're oranges and they're really lemons, and you cut them open anyway. Get some good lemon juice and then some honey. Now, here is what's really, really good. That's right. You know,
I was trying to think of the name of that.
I can't even pronounce it. WP, pronounce it for us. But that's kind of the Costa Rica tequila, okay? So anyway.
It's moonshine.
Yeah, it's moonshine. That's what it is. Now, this guy's got it going on. It says use Allen's apple juice is the best for catarro. I don't know what catarro is. But I'll agree with you. Send me some. But anyway, you take that ginger, that honey, grind up that ginger like I was saying. I got a big old pile of it. Matter of fact, I'm going to get it for you. Okay, keep listening. Keep listening. Get that honey, lemon, ginger. Grind it all up, okay? Can you hear me? All right. Now, here's what I like to do. I grind up that ginger and I get that lemon and I squeeze a bunch of lemon and I even cut little pieces of lemon and then I take honey. Well, what I did is because I want to keep it frozen. So let's see what you see. I bought these over, I think, at Pequeño Mundo. And they're like ice containers, okay? So if I take the top off right here, you can see, there you go. You see how I got little bits of grated ginger in there. So there's grated ginger inside there. I got lemon juice. So what I did was I filled the bottom. You can see how the bottom has this blue color. So I filled it up to the blue color in lemon juice, put a handful of the grated up ginger in there, put me about a tablespoon, a little more of honey in there, and then I filled, I mixed it up with a fork, and then I filled the rest up with water. Now, when I get ready, I could just pop out a cube. See there? Push that bottom, and I could just pop out a cube, drop it in a cup, and pour some hot water over it. Bam! I've got an herbal tea, and I'm telling you, I don't care what you have. If you have you got the sniffles, you got the cold, you got the whatever they want to call it, you got the bad moods or whatever. Hey, get you a cup of that, you'll feel better in no time. But really, in all honesty, when we first came to Costa Rica, did you catch it? I know I caught whatever that crap. What was it called again? Grippe. I caught that grippe when we first got here. Man, I was in pain for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. Now, as soon as I get that, I immediately drink some of that stuff. And at most, it's a week, 2 or 3 days. If I catch it when I just feel that sore throat, I can almost knock it out in just a couple of days. But anyway, that's some good stuff. And I poured it in there and I let that stuff soak and I just chew on that ginger and spit out the ginger. But anyway, really, really good stuff.
I pour mine through a strainer because I don't like I don't like to chew on the ginger.
Yeah, she don't like to chew on the ginger. That's a man thing. Man, he's just chewing tobacco and chewing butt and everything else. So, so anyway, but hey, now Eli says garlic and onion is also good for the immune system. Now you know what? I'm learning more and more that I can, but I've been trying to take a clove of garlic a day. So at nighttime, I try to cut that clove of garlic up. And right before I go to bed, I drink it. I just swallow it up. I cut it up in little pieces and swallow it. And because, I would love to get an herbal garden soon out here and just begin to learn more and more about healthy ways to keep yourself, healthy, natural ways. Because in my honest opinion, Rebecca and I have talked about this a lot. I believe God has put everything out here in earth growing that we can use as natural remedies to keep yourself healthy. And that's one of the great things as we're talking about today. One of the great things about Costa Rica is that you can grow stuff 365 days a year. And now, the rainy season, you might need to have your little hot house, but that's easy to build. You don't have to have nothing huge, but it's easy to, have you an herb garden and start doing a little research and learning how to make natural remedies. So Rebecca's been talking about that for years, that she's going to do that. Still waiting, and I've been getting sick since then. No, I rarely get sick. So, Rebecca, you tell us, what is your most favorite pro about Costa Rica? What is well, maybe not what is your favorite pro. When people are coming here for the very first time, what do you think they're going to like the most about Costa Rica?
Well, what I like the most and what keeps me here is the weather, the constant temperature.
So is it the constant rainy season?
No, I don't mind the rain and I don't mind the sunshine. I don't like the cold. So the chilliness up here in the mountains is perfect to me. I could be a little bit warmer, but not much. I don't like the coastline. I like to go visit it. I love to see no, not at all.
You don't sweat up here?
No. I do when I go visit the coast, though.
You go to the coast, you sweat a lot. So now,
because our bodies aren't acclimated, though.
But
when we've lived on the beach,
we got acclimated.
We didn't sweat as much.
Right?
But now we in these cool temperatures. I mean, it's under 60 at night.
Yeah, I mean, it was 57 degrees when we got up this morning.
And, it does not get, over 90? It's about 90 up here in the mountains.
Oh, it's never. I don't know that it's ever gotten to 90, right, but
that would be like, I guess,
85.
Standing in the sunshine.
Yeah, if you're standing in the sun. But hey, hardly anyone is actually standing in the sun, right?
So when we go down to the coast and it's sun and humidity and the heat, we're not used to it.
Yeah, and see, so Mario is saying, how bad is the humidity? I was in Austin, Texas, and it was pretty humid. Okay, well, if you could handle the humidity in Austin, Texas, you won't have no problem handling the humidity here. It is very similar as far as humidity on the coast. Now, you get in the mountains, you have some humidity. Rainy season, humidity is 100%, but it's raining, okay? But the humidity you're talking about, I think, is that sweat factor. And so when you're at higher elevations, it's really not bad at all, which brings me to the next question, which is Mike saying, well, what altitude are you at? Well, we're up here at 4,500, 4,600 feet. So the altitude where we're at is like super, super awesome, right? And of course, you get down there on the beach and you have no altitude. It is a lot hotter. You do have to deal with mosquitoes a whole lot more. Up here, when was the last time you had a mosquito bite you?
It's rare.
Yeah, it just
too cool for them.
And we're in the jungle, okay? But you just don't get a whole lot of mosquitoes, and that's because it's in Louisiana we had tons of mosquitoes, but you had a lot of standing water. So I agree with Randy. He's like, natural remedies are very effective. If you don't have to shovel the weather, I'm cool. Guess what? You might shovel some sand if you live by the beach, but you ain't shoveling no snow. So the only time you're shoveling sand if you're dumb enough to try to drive your vehicle out on the beach and you get stuck. There have been a few dumb gringos do that. Yeah. But you got to be careful everywhere you go.
And hi, my friend Pam.
Yes, look at that. So welcome everybody. I mean, we got lots of folks here today, and so glad that you're all here. Hey, we're going to get to see Pam. Matter of fact, I think Pam is in the country. So shout out to Pam. Pam and her husband, Tom, are in the country. We're going to go out and visit with them next week. Matter of fact, we're going to meet with a few people next week while we're in San Isidro. So, hey, you want to meet up? Hit me up. I'm always hungry. That's the only thing that costs you. You got to feed me, and I eat a lot. All you can eat buffet everywhere. No. That's one of the good things I like about Costa Rica is that, in the United States, we are spoiled. Well, that's why 70% of Americans are overweight. They're dying, okay? Well, everywhere you go is these all-you-can-eat buffets, and people think they got to get their money's worth, so they're just tearing it up. Well, another good thing about Costa Rica is that, you don't have these all-you-can-eat everywhere.
And the typical food is very healthy.
It's very healthy. It's very bland, but it's healthy. Yeah. Most cases,
I think the only fried thing is like if you order fried fish or chicharrones are fried,
Now they do have a lot of fried food and stuff, and but
not that much. I mean,
well, but you know, when we say very healthy,
like
I
if
don't
you
want to
get a
mislead.
casada,
Oh,
if you
yeah,
get
you
a casada, it's not going to be a piece of fried something.
and a
It's going to
casada.
be
If you don't know anything about casadas, that is one of the cheapest things that you can get when you go to a restaurant. It's pretty much mom and pop's dinner. And a casada, you know, it's generally rice and beans. Might have some fried plantain on it. Doesn't have a whole lot, little piece of meat, but it's one of the cheapest. Now, while a lot of their food is healthy, I don't want to mislead you, because just the other day I was in Walmart picking up stuff, and one of the things that you know, in the United States, you walk into a grocery store, and when you go, uh, they're selling margarine. Okay, Parquet. I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah, I believe it ain't butter. Well, you know, Parquet. It doesn't need to be in the refrigerator, but in the United States, they want to fool people into believing it's butter, so it's not on the shelves. When you go to Costa Rica, if you buy margarine, margarine's all over the shelves. It's not refrigerated at all. Either they think people are dumb and don't know any better, or they just not trying to con you. They put the Parquet on the shelf and it doesn't melt. Okay, bugs don't eat it. The dogs don't eat it. It's very unhealthy, and that's my point. Is that when you go to a restaurant, if you order toast and you're trying, like me, you're trying to stay away from Parquet because you know how bad it is for you. Well, when they cook, they're cooking with Parquet. They cooking with margarine, okay? And that's because butter's more expensive, okay? And there are a lot of ticos that don't have refrigerators, and so they're not using butter. Butter's got to be refrigerated. They're using Parquet. They're using margarine. So, yeah, while, like you said, there's a lot of, they're cooking healthy rice, beans, that kind of stuff, but they're cooking a lot of stuff in vegetable oil. I don't use vegetable oil. They're cooking a lot of stuff in Parquet. Anyway, that's my point, okay? So, not saying anything bad, just saying,
yeah.
you know.
But the typical casada is a very healthy. It's just grilled or cooked vegetables or a salad, and the meat is not deep fried or anything like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, Adam's got a good question. It says, hey, do you get any headaches or symptoms acclimating to this altitude? No, at 4,500 feet, and where my tower is at 6,000 feet, just not high enough for that to affect you, in my opinion. I think you really need to get up there around 9 or 10, 11, 12 before it begins to affect you. You know, if I can recall right from my research, but I could be lying to you, not intentionally. But yeah, no, I don't think.
You probably had to hike to Chiripo.
Yeah, you'd have to go to Chiripo, I think, and you know, so I don't think you'd have any problems. Like Eduardo says. Eduardo, he goes back and forth from Florida here, and he grows his own organic vegetables. Grows his own eggs. I don't know how he's doing that, but I need some of those egg seeds, Eduardo. Coffee fruits, moringa trees, ashwagandha, and he plants all that stuff. And, that's one of the big pros about being in Costa Rica. Really, you could plant just about anything. Gardening in Costa Rica is a little bit different than gardening in the United States. And that's because you got to kind of do things when it comes to rainy season, but it's not difficult at all. You just got to learn to protect it. R&B says, hey, where in the world are you in Costa Rica? So we're way, 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 way up the mountains. But anyway, you go about middle ways down the country in the middle of the Costa Rica. There's a little tiny town called Buenos Aires. But anyway, we're in between Buenos Aires and San Isidro, way up in the mountains. We're so high up the mountains, you couldn't find anybody. So anyway, that's where we're located at. But we're close enough to San Isidro that's where we go shopping all the time. And we love the San Isidro. When I say San Isidro, I'm talking about San Isidro del General, which is in the Paris Zeledon area of Costa Rica. And it's a great place. It's the second fastest and second largest growing city outside the San Jose metropolitan area. Great, great place to be. Okay. And as you know, the reason, in my opinion, is one of the great places is that there's really nothing touristy in San Isidro, with the exception that if you go about 30 minutes outside of town, you could go hiking up Mount Chiripo. So that's the only thing and you don't even see none of those people.
And 20 minutes or so towards the coast is the how you say Nicoya?
Nayaka. Yeah, there's Nayaka waterfalls.
Falls.
But, you just don't see a lot of tourists, which means that the prices are its normal thing. Okay. So, and another thing about being in Costa Rica, there's not a lot of stuff to do. You get bored. And so like Eduardo, he's got about 20 kids. I guess when you're bored, man, you just practice making kids. No. Hey, Eduardo, go for it. My biological father came from a family of 13 kids. So that was way, way back. I guess they didn't have nothing to do either. So anyway, lots of fun. One of the so here's a key thing of how you can enjoy living in Costa Rica, because there are going to be some bad things going to happen to you. That's all it is to it. So number one, you just got to learn not to trust everybody. Don't be gullible. I made that mistake. We both made that mistake. So, but how is it and when is it are you going to really enjoy Costa Rica? Well, you're really going to enjoy Costa Rica when you can CYE, when you can control your environment. See, it's important to move around, and you move around and you rent and you live here and you live there. Anytime you rent, you can't control your environment. You got 15 barking dogs next to you. You got the Tico that wants to turn on the music and he's got jam boxes. You can't control the environment, so there's stuff that you got to put up with. But whenever you finally decide where you want to live, and you can buy your own piece of property. Matter of fact, a subscriber, I went to go inspect his house this past week, which is an important thing. When you buy a house, you better find you somebody to inspect it. I'm not saying I'll come out and inspect it. If I got time, I will. But anyway, I went to inspect his house to make sure he had a good deal. And so he either gotten lucky or he's been listening to what I've been saying. He found a place. It's kind of at the end of the road. He doesn't have any neighbors to the left, doesn't have any neighbors to the right. He can control his environment. Now, it's possible that neighbors might move in down the road, but that house has been there about 7 or 8 years. They haven't moved in yet. Odds are maybe they want. So the deal is to be able to control your environment. He's at the end of the road. There's no neighbors left or right, none in front of him. So he can control it, okay? He can control how much noise. He can enjoy the wildlife. He can enjoy nature. So you've got to be able to control your environment. If you can't control your environment, dude, she's laughing.
No, I'm trying to keep from laughing because you're talking, but I'm laughing at Eduardo. Say he has 20 chickens, not 20 children.
No, he got 20 chickens. He got 20 children. We know. Don't you go lying on me, Eduardo. He says they his kids. So anyway, when you can control your environment, that's when you're really going to fall in love with Costa Rica. Things are going to get better and better. Now, hey, Mario asked, he says, look, I pay $120 for Starlink at the price the same in Costa Rica. No. So that's what I love about Elon Musk. He's a smart dude. He would not make any money in Costa Rica if he was to sell it at the same price. And that's simply because the people in Costa Rica don't have as much money. So he dropped the price of Starlink. So you can keep your Starlink. You can bring it here. And when you bring it here, so what you want to do is turn your Starlink off, bring it to Costa Rica, and you let them know that you've moved, okay, and change it. And then you get this IP address. Your Starlink's going to drop to about $50 a month. Okay, $50 a month. If you don't have Starlink, you can buy it here in the United States. I paid $600 for the equipment. Mine is actually $165 a month because we got the mobile application. But you can change it over, which we're about to do this month. Change it over because I actually have 2 Starlinks. I got one I bought in Costa Rica, one I bought when I was in the United States. And I did that so I could do videos comparing the pros and cons. I got busy building, didn't do it. But anyway, my point is I'm paying on the Costa Rican one. It cost me about $50 a month. And it only cost, I think, a couple of $100 for the equipment. So there's the huge difference. Elon Musk, the reason he's the richest man in the world, he's intelligent, okay? And so he sells a ton of them. But anyway, and you typically get faster internet here because you don't have as many people on it as you do in the United States. So you're going to be happy about that, Muriel. So, hey, I just saved you a bunch of money. You're welcome. Invite me out to eat. That's right. Anyway. Oh, look here. Hey, this is a question for Rebecca. Rebecca, do the birds wake you up at 4:30 in the morning?
No.
What wakes us up at 4:30 in the morning?
The squirrels.
Wait, them squirrels are loud?
The squirrels and sometimes the monkeys. I mean, the birds are chirping, but apparently that doesn't bother me, doesn't wake me up. But until you put something on the roof other than the tin, the squirrels eating over the house, they drop the nuts, and the monkeys moving through the trees, they break sticks, and
in some mornings it gets really loud.
It's not every morning.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I am so glad that there are no howler monkeys here, because when we were on the Caribbean side in Coweta, oh my goodness, we were in the jungle, kind of like we are here, way out of the way, up a mountain, and they would start howling at
sounded like dinosaurs about to come
4 o'clock
through, right?
in the morning, and they would answer each other from far away. Some would be really close and loud, and then you could hear some off in the distance.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Now over here we got spider monkeys, we got the white-faced monkeys, but we don't have the howler monkeys. Thank goodness. So anyway,
yeah, those spider monkeys screech, but they don't do it at like 4 in the morning, like the howler monkeys.
They wake you up howling. But anyway,
but we get up really early.
Yeah, we get up early. But eventually, I'm going to put some fake grass, that green turf on top, and in that way, when they're dropping in nuts, because even when it's raining, man, the pound of that tin, because while the tiny house, we're not done building. I will eventually have a ceiling, and it won't make as much noise, but I still want to put some green turf on top of my tin so that you don't hear all of the banging when they drop in nuts and stuff, and when it's raining. So anyway, big difference. But hey, we absolutely love Costa Rica. Now, I love to warn you about bad people. I have no problem calling names because I got proof. I have no problem with telling you, stay away from these people, stay away from these people. And hey, look, it's totally up to you. I give you advice. If you get conned by them, that's your own fault. But and I like to recommend people that I know, like, and trust, because they've treated me right. But but hey, if they treat me wrong down the road, which, hey, an example, the guy that installed my solar equipment, the guy seemed like he was a good guy. I thought he was doing right, but as I learned more and more about my solar system, hey, stay away from DC Solar. What is that guy? His name? Caesar. Stay away from Caesar at DC Solar. That dude sold me some batteries, told me it was gel batteries, and it was nothing more but regular lead acid batteries. So he's a con man. But here's some things that I've learned. Sometimes you will get a Tico that he starts out good, and then as his business gets busier and busier, he gets greedy. And so as he gets greedy, he begins to charge more, and he begins to do wrong. It happens. Well, if they do wrong, I'll stop promoting them, and I'll just tell people, look, he just became corrupt. He's greedy. Stay away from Caesar with DC Solar. He will rip you off. Okay, so be careful. Be careful. Okay.
Yeah. Eduardo and Randy are both saying they get up really early, and we do too. We go to bed early though.
Now it
gets dark at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. It's dark,
and that's all year long.
Yeah,
much.
Now I've seen some channels where they like, you got to do like Tico. You come to Costa Rica, you need to get up early. That crap. I didn't move to Costa Rica to become a Tico, but I've always been an early riser, and most Ticos do get up early, which goes back to controlling your environment. They get up early so they can start work early. So in the United States, we have respect for our neighbors. Ain't nobody in the United States gonna get up, start cutting their grass at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, Ticos, They don't care that old Alan's trying to catch a few Z's. No, he's like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh, it's just part of being in Costa Rica.
Yeah, if you don't like it, go home, gringo, or go buy you a piece of property where there's nobody cutting their grass.
That's right. That's why we live out here on 1,000 acres and ain't got no neighbors.
None close enough to hear their lawnmower.
That's right.
Or weed eater. It's the weed eaters.
That's right. So it's all these things that you've got to learn about. And I like getting up early. Now, if you're not a person that likes to get up early, don't live next to a Tico because he's getting up early. Matter of fact, remember the one house we lived at? We'd be sound asleep. He would bring his fighting roosters and put them on our clothesline. You got to listen to roosters at 5. And he was doing that before we moved there, and he did that after we moved there.
Renting or not. Didn't matter. The clothesline was still his.
So, you have to understand, you got to be careful, in Costa Rica because, even after you buy a piece, if he's been crossing your property, he thinks he can still cross your property. You got to let him know. Now, try to do it peacefully. Say, look, this is my property. I know you've been crossing here all the time, but you can't do that no more. This is my privacy. You can't invade you have to. Ticos don't think like that. Okay, so you got to be careful.
Another thing that we experienced a lot of is when we would find a little rent house in a neighborhood. It's very nice, but the houses don't have insulation because they don't need it. The temperature is mild and constant. So there's really some houses don't even have ceiling tile. It's just the tin roof like what we have right now. But you can hear everything.
Absolutely. We can hear the guy snoring.
There's no insulation, right? You can just be aware of that.
Yeah.
You find a cute little place to rent and there's a house about
right
6 feet away.
Because
you're going to hear everything.
Talking about keeping you up. William says he just got back from Gracia, from Playa. He got back to Gracia from Playa Blanca. The monkeys kept him up all night.
Really?
See? So I bet you those were howler monkeys. Let me know what you think, because I think those might be it's just crazy. But hey, I'd like to know if it was howler monkeys that kept you up all night, Bill. It's different. Evelina has a question here and says, Alan, just a few lives ago, it crawled under his house. So he has a crawl space in Costa Rica. Isn't that excessively American for the Costa Rican climates, termites, etc.? No crawl spaces in Europe. Now, when I crawled under my house, it's because I built my house up off the ground and I crawled underneath the house. And so at this end of the house, I might have 2.5 feet. But if you get to the other end of the house, it's only a couple inches. But I purposely built my house off the ground in hopes I'd have fewer bugs coming into the house. Okay. So you're right, Evelina. Most places in Costa Rica don't have any crawl spaces under their houses. Okay. Most houses are built on a cement floor. Okay. So most places don't have a crawl space.
This is a very unusual build.
Yeah, this is very unusual build here. Very unusual. So hey, if you want any questions, because when we do our monthly Q&A, it's kind of like a free phone consultation. You can ask anything you want. Like, hey, matter of fact, like one thing. What about drying clothes? Well, in Costa Rica, hardly anybody has a dryer. It's called a clothesline. You hang your clothes out there. That don't mean you can't buy a dryer, but if you buy a dryer, you're going to pay a lot in electric bill unless you buy a propane-operated dryer, okay? And then that brings in a whole nother aspect, okay? So you can have a propane-operated dryer because it's electric heat that causes the bill to go up. But if you had a propane operated dryer, your bill won't be so high. You can dry stuff, and you don't need it in the dry season. In summer, you really don't need it. You just hang your clothes out on the line. They smell better. They're fresher. But in the rainy season,
it's you have to get out very early and you have about 2 hours.
And depending on where you live at. Now, some places you have a little bit more time.
Yeah, well, we live in the cloud forest, so it's
that's right. A little
rainy
bit.
season. There's hardly any.
That's right. A big challenge.
Any dry
right.
and closed time.
And so the challenge that comes with propane is in the United States. I used to own a grocery store, and we had a propane filling station. In other words, someone would bring their 5-gallon tank. I'd go fill it up and give it right back to them. Okay. And that was typical all over. But then it came to where you just would bring your 5-gallon can, swap it out. United States, that's not a bad deal because the United States has some very strict laws because people don't realize how dangerous propane can be. Extremely dangerous. So Evelina's ears just perked up. Did you say danger? Yeah. Propane tanks can be dangerous. Okay. And in Costa Rica, they may have laws, but no one to enforce them. So you will buy a brand new propane tank, spend $80 to $100 for a brand new propane tank. It's empty. You take it to get it filled, and you spent $80 for a brand new tank, and then they give you an old black propane tank that's about to blow up, and that sucker's 15 years old, okay? And that's just not good at all, okay? So never want that to be in your house, but if you put it outside, it gets stolen, so you need to chain it down. So there's a lot of things. I'm going to actually do a video later talking about propane and what you can do to be careful. It's one of those things, okay? One of those things. So you got to be careful.
Now, Doug makes a good point.
Point it out.
Right there.
Right here?
Yeah. Stay away from wood unless it's teak and no flat roofs. Exactly.
That's right. So why stay away from wood?
The termites.
Now, if you're up here in the mountains, there's not a termite problem. Well, how do you know? Why don't you look around and see if there's any termite nests? Okay. So there are no termite nests here. It's too cold. Okay. So
then you deal with the mold.
Then you got to deal with mold.
Everything that we have that's not treated wood, mold.
That's right. So you got to be really, really careful. Okay. So indeed, now teak is more water resistant. You won't have a problem, and no flat roofs because man, it starts pouring down rain. If you get a flat roof, it's gonna leak. So thanks for putting that in there, Doug. Absolutely. Okay. And I'm looking up here because I saw, and so Evelina says, so then your floors is wood. No, I don't have wood floors. Okay. So the deal is that right now I have, it's really a combination. It's called Plystone. Okay. Now they have something called ply rock. Don't buy ply rock. That's crap. Okay. That's Costa Rica made crap. But they have something called Plystone. And so mine is 20 centimeters thick. It's almost an inch thick, 3/4 inch to an inch. And it's made with a combination of like cement and it almost looks like cardboard, but it's really heavy duty. Man, that stuff's heavy. But anyway, I put that on the floors. Now I will put wood on top of it later. I have it. But once, so the bottom part, it's kind of like a cement. It's a cement board is what it is, okay? And then I'll eventually put wood on top of it. Just hadn't done it yet. So we still in that process. So, Randy asked a good question. He says, when will the new members area be up? It should have been up, but I ran into a couple of technical issues, and I'm hoping to get back on it soon. And so I'm glad you asked, Randy. Randy's a real active member in our members-only area. I love our members-only area, and there's ways. I've thought of a lot of ways to improve our members-only area, but I'm having to build that by hand, and then I got sidetracked on some other things because I'm working on the, I do a lot on the internet. I'm an IT guy, and anyway, but I'm hoping real soon, but I don't want to give you a date because I don't want to lie to you. It seems like I thought I was going to have it done 30 days ago, but then I ran into some technical disasters, and their support desk is slow on answering. I think they're from Costa Rica. Everything takes longer in Costa Rica. Anyway, so I'm looking here. So Mike says he's heard that it's good to have your house a few feet elevated on pillars for airflow underneath, partially to prevent humidity issues as well. And yeah, that is a good idea. If you do have it up off the ground, where I'm at right now is actually the temporary house. I want to add on right here. And when I add on, then the first floor is going to be 10 feet off the ground. And then the bottom side is going to be like the outdoor kitchen. It's going to be. And so that's what I have intentions on building. But right now I'm busy working on one of my online businesses that I'm building right now. And so I'm kind of sidetracked on that. But yeah, if you have it elevated, then it has a chance to air out and you won't have near the problems. And so you can have it elevated, but most houses in Costa Rica, you don't see elevated houses. You know, it's just not typical. Okay. You go to some of these expensive places where you can build some. But anyway, it is definitely a good idea, because one of the most important factors when building a house is to make sure that you don't get mold in it. Okay. Because once you get mold in cinder blocks, you can forget ever getting it out. So WP says his has steel cage around it. So I'm thinking he's talking about steel cage around the bottom side of their house. I'm not sure. But yeah, you want something to keep critters out, you know, but I'm not sure what he's saying. And so Evelina says, so you're going to make your house kind of like a Florida house. Maybe so, if she's talking about some of the Florida houses that are up high, in case of water and stuff.
Waters.
Yeah, wouldn't want it to flood up here. No, we up on the mountain, ain't never going to flood up here. So anyway, but there's lots of things you can do. So here's one of the important factors of really learning how you can enjoy life in Costa Rica. Bad stuff is going to happen. That's all it is to it. And here's, if you can get on a lot of Facebook pages, and man, all you got is a bunch of grumpy, wore out, tired, mad gringos. They got nothing good to say about Costa Rica. And I'm wondering, why are you still in Costa Rica? So, a lot of bad stuff will happen, and it's going to happen. That's all it is to it. But you can't focus on that. What you have to do is, and I had a hard time doing this. I'm preaching to the choir. I would get so mad, and I hated it because I'd just get the shirt off my back, and I hate when someone takes advantage of me. So you got to let it, it's like letting water roll off a duck's back. You got to get to where it's not bothering you, and you just got to say, okay, a lesson learned. If you ever heard that saying, the first time it's shame on you, the second time shame on me. If I get screwed twice, well, that's my own fault. So learn from that lesson quick. And don't let it bother you. Just keep going, keep trucking. Otherwise, if you keep thinking about it and you let it bother you, you're going to end up like some of these old retired people on Facebook where they got nothing good to say. They hate Costa Rica, but they're still in Costa Rica. It's like, go home, go back to the United States. So, I like to warn you about some of the bad things in Costa Rica, but we absolutely love Costa Rica. So you got to focus on the positive. And it's every day I go walk, me and Nikki. Well, Nikki and I, we go walk all the time, but every morning, every evening, sometimes middle of the day, we go walk. And I look out and I'm just thankful, man. I'm like, look at how blessed we are to live in this beautiful place. We're looking at the mountain range right there, and it's like, wow, look at that. Wow, man. Where it's like, look at that, look at those monkeys over there. And the other day, I wished I'd put the video up. We caught that monkey. I got a bunch of bananas right there, and I'm waiting to pick them. And it's kind of hard to tell when a bunch of bananas is ripe. But I can tell you for sure, you want to know when your bananas are ripe? When the monkeys are stealing them. So we
when they see a little bit of yellow, it's not that they're ripe. They're ready to be cut, and then you hang them and let them finish ripening. But the monkeys will let you know when it's time to cut them down.
That's right.
Cut them from the stalk.
We watched that monkey come, and he come down there and he jumped on that bunch, and he grabbed the only banana that had just a tidge of yellow on it. So anyway, just the other day I cut them and I hung them up underneath the barn so they can continue to turn yellow, and the monkeys can't steal my bananas. But because I like my bananas. I have a banana shake every morning, But anyway.
WP says he was talking about his propane tank, I guess.
Right there. Oh, yeah. WP was saying propane. If you have your propane outside, you need to have a steel cage around it that's bolted to the house so that people can't steal it. Okay. And so, yeah, absolutely. And, that's not difficult to do, So Absolutely. So, and like R&B says, is it true that land and construction is relatively cheap here? So, uh, absolutely, if you don't get conned. Okay. So, here's one of the places, one of the areas where you will get taken advantage of the most is when you buy land. A Tico can buy land very, very cheaply because he knows the value of that land. Okay. And, but you don't know the value of that land. And so a realtor will contact someone and sell that land. And he's like, oh, yeah, I think I want, and now I'm going to convert this to USD because Tico is going to say how much he wants in colones. But he'll say, I want $50,000 for this hectare. The realtor will say, oh, no, we can get 100,000 for that, and he's going to be, really? And that's what's going to happen. Okay. So if you want to buy land at the Tico price, you need to contact me because I have my best friend here in Costa Rica. He's a Tico. He's got a business. He helps a lot of gringos save money, whether they're buying a car, whether they're renting a house, they're buying a house, they're buying just land. And he, you find out what you want, he will go there. He'll make all the phone calls. Right now, he's making a lot of phone calls because my Galloper is falling apart. I don't know if I'm going to buy another vehicle. I got to have money. So if you want to donate to the cause, so anyway, he will call and he'll do all the negotiating and he will get the best price. Now, I'll have to pay him. But the money I pay him far outweighs the gringo price I would get if I were to buy the car or buy the land myself. So yes, it is true that you can get land if you got the right connections and construction cheap. And here's an example. I actually supervised a job, okay, and it's in kind of a semi-remote area. This guy bought a piece of property and, gorgeous piece of property, 5 hectares. 5 hectares is around 14 acres. Got it for, I'm not going to give exact prices, around $100,000. Ended up building a beautiful 2-bedroom, 2-bath, open concept house for around $70,000. Okay. So all in all, under $200,000, he had a brand new house, brand new house property. And so now he bought something remote and, he had to build a road on it. I built the road for him. So there's several things that you have to take into consideration. But if you got the right connections where you can talk to the right people, and I love to connect you with the right people, okay, you can indeed save a lot of money, okay?
Evelyn is asking about the aggression of the monkeys.
Where at?
Right
here?
Down one, I think. Yeah. Right.
So Evelina says, in India, monkeys can be very ungrateful to tourists feeding them. Are they ever aggressive? That's why when you go to parks in Costa Rica, they tell you. Matter of fact, they will inspect your bags. Don't stink and feed the monkeys. Don't feed nothing, okay? Because if you feed them, you upset the ecological atmosphere. So let them hunt on their own. And that's what happens. You go to places like India. You go to other places where they don't have these rules in place. Yeah. And I have actually been through the park a lot whenever we were doing the retreats. And a monkey will actually try to get into your backpack. They'll unzip that thing, okay? So the deal is don't ever try to feed the monkeys. I've never seen any aggressive monkeys here. They're pretty shy. And even in tourist areas, they won't come real close, okay? So the problem with aggressive monkeys is where idiots are feeding them, and then you go down there and they're aggressive. So in most cases in Costa Rica, you won't have that problem.
I like at the parks. They will come close to you.
Yeah, they will come close, but they still pretty shy, but they will come close. Yeah. And that's because they've learned. Yeah.
But they, like you said, they will
come up behind you. Aggressive though, but it kind of
they'll come up behind you and try to unzip your backpack, or if you have something. But then if you turn around, they're really gone. Yeah. The ones we have here, when they see us, they it's the funniest thing. They break sticks and throw the sticks. Like if Nikki goes out there, or the cat is out there, they break the limbs and it's almost like they're throwing it, but
Yeah,
their limbs
but
are
it-
really
they're-
falling. They shake them, they break them, and then it's funny. It's like they're trying to scare us.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to scare you off, you know.
But they will not come anywhere near us.
No, matter of fact, they, just the other day I put a couple of ripe bananas that I got from the store, and they were sitting on the table, and I was leaving them out there on the table. The table's outside, waiting for them to come down, hoping they'd go to it. But it was a little too far away from the tree, so I took those 2 bananas and put them on the rocks, which was right underneath the tree. And look, just a few minutes later, we caught him on video climbing down that tree, and he picked up them bananas and ran right up the tree.
Yeah, trying to deter him from taking
He wasn't wasting no
bananas.
time. He's like, so these aren't tame at all, and we're not going to try to tame them as much as tempting as that is.
And we're not going to feed them.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a one-time thing to try to keep them from getting your bananas.
Yeah, but anyway, lots of things that you can do to just really enjoy life. I saw a question up here. Mike said, is most of your power from solar of a generator, propane, diesel, or other wind, a turbine? So right now, 100% of our power comes from solar. However, the solar guy that installed my stuff conned me. Okay, now I ended up buying, my solar system was working pretty good until I bought a larger freezer, and it couldn't handle it. And so anyway, I won't go into that long story. But I didn't buy a large system because I always knew that in the near future I would have a combination of solar and hydro. And I talked to Caesar and said I want solar and hydro. He tried everything in his book to talk me out of hydro. Oh, the hydro's no good. Blah, blah. No, the reality is hydro's great. He don't know nothing about hydro. Okay, so in the very near future, I just bought a solar hydro system. So the system he sold me, I'm gonna have to scrap it. Okay, which burns me up because that was $6,000 that I paid for that system. And in other words, he didn't do what I wanted. Okay, and so I had to buy another system. And it's coming in. I've got it ordered. I'm going to have to go to the States, pick up some of the parts, and I'm going to install a hydro system. So I've been talking with a guy in the United States, and I'll be doing videos on this so you can learn more. That's why I try to tell people, hey, if you're going to buy a piece of property and you want to maybe do off-grid, find a piece of property that's got running water. Better if you have a little waterfall. But, anyway, we talk about all that. And so real soon, right now, 100% is coming from solar. But because I got a large freezer, sometimes in the wintertime, I have to crank up the generator. So at nighttime to help keep it up. Okay. So anyway.
We have propane for the hot water or the tankless hot water heater.
Yeah. So we got instant hot water for the shower with propane. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So like Rebecca's saying, propane for our stove, propane for the shower. Okay. So there's a lot of things that you can do. And look, really, we have no utilities, other than the propane, and that's not expensive at all, okay? Okay, so Kent says they're from the Mesa, Arizona area. They're planning on moving to Costa Rica. They're considering the antennas area. Any advice? So the antennas area, not a place that we've traveled a whole lot through, it, and I've never been there, but it's an area that does have a lot of expats. Not a super lot, but any place that has a lot of expats, property values are more, okay? But that's really a good place because you're close to San Jose and close to the airports. So you want to keep in mind that anything that's within 30 minutes, an hour of San Jose, the prices are going to be more. Why? Because a lot of expats that came to Costa Rica, they want to be close to the airport. So they're living within that 30 minutes, an hour of the airport. So it's going to cost more. Is it going to be crazy more? Well, there's a lot of places. If you do your due diligence, stay off the real estate sites and knock on doors, you'll find great prices. It'll take you a little bit longer, maybe, okay? And that's because when you find a piece of property, after you do your negotiations, then you got to talk to my trusted attorney so you don't get ripped off, okay? And now she'll make sure that everything is clean and clear. And then, so it might take a little bit longer, whereas realtor's already found the property, has already made sure it's got a title, but has doubled the price on it. Okay. So, you know, where you could save time with a realtor, you're going to pay more. Okay. If you want to knock on doors, you might spend a little bit more time, but you'll save a ton of money. So that's, I hope that answered your question. But, and Randy brings up a good point. Negotiation is a universal art. Dude, in Costa Rica, I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of places. I hate negotiating. I'm like, you know, oh, you want $5,000 for it? Okay. You know, but Costa Rica, they expect you to negotiate on almost every single thing. I mean, you go to some places and they hand you toilet paper. You better negotiate whether you want more or not. That ain't enough toilet paper. I need more than 3 pieces. You know, in Costa Rica, you got to negotiate. That's all it is to it. Okay. So be prepared to negotiate. Be prepared to, you know, go back and forth. Now, Eduardo travels back and forth from Florida, and he says, look, coming back to Fort Lauderdale, South Florida, with Spirit Air, it's only $187. Okay. But now Spirit will nickel and dime you on everything else. But look, when you're traveling back, that's a good question. I mean, when you travel back and forth from Costa Rica to the United States, hey, it's about a 4-hour trip. I'm getting ready to go back to Miami, Florida to pick up a few things. And you know what? $250, $300. Okay. Typically, though, on average, when we travel, a plane ticket would cost us about $500, round trip.
Round trip, yeah.
You know, so it's not crazy expensive, but you can find deals, okay? And Eduardo says, you know, when you're buying a piece of property, make sure you check with City Hall to see if they got any old taxes, water bills, and light bills and stuff like that. And, of course, that's what your attorney will do for you when you hire an attorney to make sure everything is right, okay? So WP says, make sure that you get a Tico to make the initial call for you. Yes and no. Okay, I got a trusted Tico friend. If you don't have a trusted Tico friend and he makes a call, here's what he's going to do. And he's going to do all this in Spanish so you don't understand. Hey, dude, I got this gringo. He wants your property. Let's make a good deal, and you and I both make money off of it. Hey, dude, I got you a great deal. It's only $100,000. He only wanted 75, but he ain't telling you that. So, yeah, you got to be careful. These kind of things happen all the time. Okay, so be very, very careful. Okay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't go as a gringo knocking on doors for property because they see dollar signs.
Well, and that's what Mario is asking. When you say knock on doors, do you mean literally go knock on doors? What I'm saying is literally what you want to do is you go drive around and you go looking. And you're going to see, look, everything is for sale in Costa Rica. There are signs everywhere. Even Ticos don't trust realtors, okay? So you see a sign. Call him up, go look at the property. When he sees you, exactly like Rebecca, the price is going to be crazy high. But you don't know until you go see it. So go see it. And you might go look at 9 or 10. Okay, well, after you look at a bunch of properties, find the 3 that you like the most. Contact me. You're going to pay my buddy, and he's going to make phone calls, and he's going to save you thousands upon thousands of dollars for the property you want. Okay. And so he'll call those 3, get the best deal. Then you can decide which one you want, and you'll save thousands upon thousands of dollars. That's how it works. Okay.
Another way is to be willing to walk away from it, offer what you think it is actually worth because they expect you to negotiate.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, Uncle Chico would like to just shout out to Uncle Chico. Uncle Chico, he likes to support our channel. We greatly appreciate him. And look, if you want to support our channel, you know, we do all this for free. But you know what? If you want to support our channel and you want to show your appreciation, all you got to do is hit that $sign there in the comment section. Hit that $sign. You can donate $1. You can donate $1 million. Matter of fact, I think Eduardo is going to donate $1 million in the next 10 minutes. We're waiting on you, Eduardo. The counter is going down. Anyway, we greatly appreciate you. We really do. We really appreciate you supporting us. So that's one way to support us. You can join our members-only community. I'm excited to get that new one up and going. But thank you so much. We greatly appreciate you. Now, here's a great question. Elvi says, the first flight to Costa Rica, do you guys purchase a one-way ticket, a round-trip ticket? You must purchase a round-trip ticket. We got lucky when we first came here, huh?
Yeah, I think that was before maybe the laws or someone messed up.
We only bought a one-way ticket. But when you go to Costa Rica, you have to buy a round-trip ticket unless you're already a resident. If you're a resident, you don't have to buy a round-trip ticket, okay? But until you become a resident, you must buy a round-trip ticket. That's all it is to it, okay?
And make your return flight. However, if you want to stay 180 days, then make your return flight for 180 days from when you enter the country.
Right.
Because they will give you.
Yeah, they'll give you 100. Now, if you know you only got 2 weeks, okay. But if you know you're going to be here, you might typically extend your time or whatever. Buy your round trip ticket for 180 days out. And when you go through immigrations, they see 180 days. They stamp your passport 180 days. And then, so for whatever reason you want to extend, it's not a problem. If you come here with 2 weeks and you think you might extend, might not, and you only got 2 weeks, you got 14 days, and then it's a pain in the butt, so don't make that mistake. You can always get your round trip ticket for as long as you want, and then you can adjust it depending on the type of ticket you get, okay? So that's just something for you to learn and understand, okay? So Mario says, when you go to Paso Canoas to renew your visa, do you have to show proof of when you're leaving Costa Rica? Absolutely. So whenever, so in a nutshell, whenever I do a border run, you're going to have to buy a plane ticket. Okay. And so I buy a refundable plane ticket. So I'll buy a refundable plane ticket. I buy my exit tax. I stamp out of Costa Rica. I go to Panama. Panama, those dudes are knuckleheads. They crooked, they rotten. They're going to force you to buy a bus ticket, all kind of stupid stuff. Okay. And so, but you're going to have to show a plane ticket that you are, leaving the United States, coming back. It's a pain in the butt. Okay. Okay. Now, if you stamp out over at Nicaragua, it's a whole lot easier, man. You can get in and out with no problem. So a lot of it makes a difference, and a lot of times it does change. Okay. Tom says, any issue with 2 one-way tickets? Oh, no. You can have 2 one-way tickets, no problem. Matter of fact, we always just show a one-way ticket, and but it's a one-way ticket going out or coming in. We do it so anyway.
They don't even check when we're leaving.
Yeah, they don't check when we're leaving because we're stamping out. We're leaving, but we show that we have a one-way ticket leaving in 180 days. They want to know you got a way to leave the country in 180 days.
It's just when we're coming back to Costa Rica, they want to know that we have a plan. We've always been asked for that return ticket. I think somebody is saying that.
And Thomas said there are no dumb questions because look, you ask the question, in Costa Rica, you'd be shocked at the things that happen. There are no dumb questions. I'm like, why are they making me do that dumb thing? Just the way it is.
Yeah, and WP is mentioning about a bus ticket. You can do the bus ticket as well.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you're at. In Panama, they're just crooked. They won't let you get away with just having a ticket out. Used to, you could just buy a bus ticket leaving the country in 6 months, Anyway, it's a lot of different things. So you never know what's going to happen when you go to the border. Nicaragua is a little more consistent because they're not nearly as crooked. They just want you to come in and out of Nicaragua and spend some money at the border. Panama, they're just crooked.
Thomas is asking if they'll give you 180 days, even if you're.
Now, Thomas says they will give you 180 days, even if your itinerary shows 3 weeks. Okay. So I don't know that because I always go out. So, and I've heard that from other people, Thomas, because Costa Rica wants you to stay in 180 days and they're encouraging you to stay. So I'm glad that you brought that up, Thomas. Okay?
But it's not a for sure thing. It's up to the person's discretion. I mean, one time they gave me 90 days and they gave you 180.
Yeah. Exactly what Rebecca said. It doesn't matter what the law says. It's up to the discretion of the immigrations officer. he don't like the way you look. Maybe he gave me 180 days because he was gay. I don't know. Maybe he thought I was good looking and he didn't like her.
No,
And
but
gave her 90
remember
days.
that was the time that you kind of interfered with something, and he had to give you 180 because you had a
well, no, he
what
actually
kind of pass? You had that
I had the digital nomad
visa. I didn't, and he could tell I was with you, traveling with you, and so I guess he took out his aggression on me because I was with you.
No idea.
He's like, I'm gonna mess him up. I'm gonna give his travel companion 90 days, and I'm gonna give him 180 because I have to.
Eduardo says, hey, the secret to coming into the airport, he said, look, if you go to the airport, he says, wear a Linga soccer t-shirt. You get a free pass out of the airport. See, Eduardo loves, actually, Eduardo hates Linga. Eduardo loves the other soccer team. What is the soccer team Eduardo loves so much? He talks about them all the time. It's the Spirilla or something team. Anyway, Eduardo does everything he can to blend right in with the Ticos, and it works. So, that's right, Mario. He likes to disguise himself as a serious soccer fan. Look, when you come to Costa Rica, the thing they like the most is their football. We call it soccer. They love their football. Okay, so you gotta do it. But anyway, hey, look, I can't believe it's been an hour and 6 minutes already. I don't know where the time went, but look, last call for the alcohol. If you got any questions, you got anything else, hey, we want to answer your question. You can answer it right now. If you want to support us, hey, you click that button and support us. If you just want to support us in a non-financial way, share, like, comment, engage. After this video is over, always make sure to engage underneath the video, and the algorithm says, hey, they must have really liked this, and it goes out to more people. Hey, we greatly, greatly appreciate you. Always look forward to the lives on Sunday. We always have fun. Remember, the first Sunday of every month is live Q&A, where, hey, we're not actually teaching or sharing anything. We're just answering your questions. But if you during the rest of the month, we're trying to some sort of a topic. Here's a question here that Mike says. He says, if I go to Golfito, are items as cheap in Golfito as Casa Panoas? I think they're cheaper in Golfito, and Golfito happens to be a duty-free area where a lot of people go and buy stuff, and you'll get much better quality. When you go to Casa Canoas, you're going to get a lot of crap, a lot of con men, a lot of stuff. So while you can get it duty-free in Casa Canoas, I think you get better quality, and I think you get a better price over at Golfito, Mike. I really do. So Randy says, fantastic live. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Eduardo says he's going to take back some Florida moonshine with him. He's going to probably some Costa Rica moonshine to Florida. So, hey, Mario says, thank you, you too. We greatly appreciate all of you. Can't wait to see you. Oh, wait, next Sunday, we're not going to have to cancel our live next Sunday, so I hate it. I'm going to miss you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, but can't do it next Sunday. But the following Sunday, we'll be
No. Next Sunday, we're doing it. It's the following.
Oh, we are doing it next Sunday? Mm-hmm. I gotta get.
I mean, you are.
I gotta get with my secretary because I don't. Next Sunday we are doing it. It's the Sunday after that. You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here, but you're gonna be here next Sunday.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll do it next Sunday. All right. Let me take them tears back.
And then the following Sunday.
The following Sunday after that.
Canceled.
All right. Yep, Eduardo, this was school today. And you know what? I'm sending you to the principal's office because you can't behave. So come on, let's go. All right. Eduardo says she the boss. Mm-hmm. All right. Talk to you guys next week. Ciao.
Ciao.